If I ever treat you like this, if I ever behave like this or sound like this, please fire my ass. Curate me, swift sword me, cut the rope, whatever you have to do, but get me out of your world. Actually, I'll deserve it. I will deserve to be fired, curated, and swift sworded. And I'll also deserve to go broke if this is the way I treat you, my prospects, my clients, my viewers. If this ever happens, show me the door. Michael McLean, brassballsvideos.com. I'm an ex-professional hockey coach, championship amateur hockey coach, turned 8-figure entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur and small business owner, husband, father, just like you. Every day I shoot these broken iPhone videos in your email box every day at 6 a.m. If you're part of my email newsletter list, you can subscribe at brassballsvideos.com. So I want to talk today, I want to tell the real story behind this latest disaster. This latest disaster would, of course, be Sports Illustrated in January. You may remember, you may not be aware, but in January of this year, Sports Illustrated announced that it was closing its doors. After decades and decades of being one of the most powerful voices in pro and amateur sports, Sports Illustrated was closing its doors. Since then, they've been, of course, rescued by another large corporation, but it's just a matter of time until it's officially over. And you hear all the whining and the complaining and the excuse making when the Sports Illustrated magazine and now the mouthpieces behind the new company talk about why did Sports Illustrated go broke? Why are they bankrupt? Why can they not make their payments? Why do they have to lay off most of their staff? You know, why are they failing after being one of the most powerful voices and media platforms in all of America, actually the entire world? And they try to, their mouthpieces and their spin doctors have said, well, you know, people aren't reading physical magazines anymore. If social media has had a negative effect, there's everything you could ever imagine. They're talking about every excuse in the book. People don't read anymore. The subscription business is saturated. Just on and on. Advertisement and print is way down. So I wanted to share with you my righteous experience with this disaster of a magazine and let you make up your own mind whether they actually deserve to go broke or not. I talk a lot about not getting upset with companies and corporations and businesses that you used to spend money with. See, I'm not an anti-social media guy. I don't participate in any of those swamps, or I don't let any of that rat poison into my life. But I'm also not argumentative in terms of, you know, trying to win an argument. I don't wrestle pigs. I don't try to put lipstick on a pig. What I do is the second that I get even a sniff, even a whiff that a company has gone, I call it lame on me. And this could be anybody. This could be a vendor. This could be a magazine. This could be a food company. This could be Disney. This could be, the NFL. It could be the NBA. It could be anything that I'm spending money or spending time on. I have a rule that the second I get a whiff that any of these corporations or large businesses or even small businesses, restaurants, bars, you name it, I vote with my feet and my wallet. That's it. I learned that from my dad. Instead of getting angry and frustrated and upset with what is happening in our world, if you want to make the ultimate, if you want to send the ultimate message, we need people to vote with their feet and their wallet. It's really that simple. I mean, you can talk, waste your time, trying to put lipstick on a pig and spending your valuable finite time wasting it on social media or other rat poison swamps, or you can just cut these companies and businesses out of your life. So Sports Illustrated is a company, one of these companies that went lame on me a year ago. And for the first time in 33 years, I did not renew my subscription. Think about that for a second, and I'll take you back. Like, how bad do you have to treat your members, your clients, your customers, your buyers to lose subscribers like me, as an example, where my weekly magazine in my mailbox from SI is part of my life? Well, it's pretty simple. So they didn't go bankrupt, they didn't go broke, they haven't almost lost the entire company because of what they've told us. The spin doctors left out the fact that I actually subscribed for the first time when I was just a little boy. And the reason I subscribed to Sports Illustrated in the first place? Like, I was like my daughter Emery's age. I think I was like 9 or 10. And they had that famous football phone. And it's still one of the greatest subscription offers ever. Of course, the new age marketing department at Sports Illustrated, they put the kibosh on that years and years and years ago. Why continue with a marketing system that's making you millions and millions of dollars? So if you ever get a chance, just Google the Sports Illustrated football phone advertisement. And the point at the bottom line with that is almost everybody subscribed to Sports Illustrated the first time because of the football phone, because of this cool football phone. It's the premium. Premiums drive sales. It's the t-shirt, it's the ball cap. I mean, who the hell wants another book or magazine? I learned a long time ago that people buy my book, How to Not Get Your Ass Kicked in Business and in Life. They buy it for the book, but a book is boring, a newspaper is boring, a magazine is boring, a mastermind is boring. But subconsciously, we don't buy on logic, we buy on what? Emotion. So in this case, you buy because of the football phone. And then you've got a subscriber in my example, like for 30 plus years if you don't screw it up. So I remember it was like, I forget, it was $9 or $19 for the year. And every week I would get, 52 of these a year. And I just lived and died by my Sports Illustrated. I'd get my football information in there. I'd get a little bit of NHL. I'd get college football, baseball, track and field, like to a young kid. I mean, it was glorious. You get this every week in the mail. It was the only mail I got when I was a little kid. So it was the football phone. And then every year, I remember my brother and I, we had separate subscriptions because we love the magazine so much. I tear out my pieces of, I tear out photos of John McEnroe and Bjorn Borg and Joe Montana and Tom Landry and, all these guys these heroes that appeared in the Sports Illustrated book. And so my brother and I actually had separate subscriptions, and every year, smart, stopped doing it, of course, too old school, they would give us another premium, another free bonus for renewing every year. So one year we get these gray Sports Illustrated t-shirts. The next year we got a ball cap, and it just went on. And that would just give us that little bit of motivation to renew every year. You get the card, the business reply card in the mail, and you'd send it back. And it worked for 33 years. Now there's a couple of things, of course, big corporation or somebody in there with a MBA or some fuzzy-headed academic or some new age online person decided, well, we don't need to use that silly football phone. We don't need to use t-shirts and hats and towels. We don't need to use any premiums. So I could imagine that their subscriptions probably cut them by 90%. I'm not kidding. If they kept 10% of their subscription base over the last decade, I'd be shocked, because they did everything they could to alienate subscribers like me. We're not giving you any premiums. We're not giving you any thank you gifts. And where would the new subscribers come from? People don't buy magazines, they buy football phones. People don't buy books, they buy t-shirts. And premiums massively drive sales. So it's been in the last decade you could see the demise of this company. No different than Disney, no different than Budweiser, no different than the NFL, no different than the NBA, no different than CNN or ESPN. It's death by 10,000 paper cuts. You know, you go broke slow, like my grandfather used to say. A company or a person goes broke slow until they go broke fast. And that's what you see with these companies that go lame, as I like to say, where it's no longer about the customer, it's no longer about the subscriber, it's no longer about the one thing that they're in business to do in the first place. In Sports Illustrated's case, they were in the, those guys would write articles that would just blow. They had the best writers writing for them every single week. And then about a decade ago, I'll never forget it, delivery problems of the physical magazine. So it's a print magazine that sometimes doesn't get delivered. And that's where you started to notice that they no longer gave a shit about their subscribers or the customers. And in these cases, I remember I would wait for my weekly SI magazine. And some weeks, it wouldn't arrive. And I would get on the phone. I'm a phone guy. I don't email magazines, or I don't hide behind that kind of stuff or go to a website. I pick up the phone and I try to get a human being on the phone, and it was like next to impossible. They had already AI'd it. They had already had the robots and the voicemail trees that you get lost in for hours until you give up. I just wanted to talk to a human being. Where's my physical newsletter? I talked to the post office and they never could fix the problem. But here's the tell. Here's the big red flag. And this happened the last 10 years. Nobody got back to me. Nobody returned my call. So I took the time as a longtime subscriber, 25 years at that time, and nobody cared enough to return my call and even dignify that, my service request. They didn't care. So I would sporadically over the next few years get, 2 a month, and sometimes 1 a month. Then sometimes I'd get them all. It was just all over the place. So you can see the company culture. There's corporate cancer. Somebody isn't doing their job. The culture is, I don't give a shit. that kind of stuff. You can't talk to a human. You can't get a human being on the phone. Nobody returns your call. So that's strike one. That's strike one. My print magazine started not showing up consistently. Hey, if you buy a book from me, or you subscribe to a newsletter, or whatever it is, and my stuff doesn't show up, and you call Marc-Andre, my business partner, or myself, and we don't fix the problem, fire our fucking ass. Fire our ass. We've gone lame. So the second strike for me is, you're gonna laugh at this one. So they stopped accepting money. So the Sports Illustrated magazine audience is very much my audience. So I work with men, alpha males, top 5%, top 1%, and a lot of my guys are huge sports guys. They're former athletes. Some of them are former pro athletes, former, athletic coaches. They're just sports guys. So a lot of them subscribe and read SI. So we were going to do a test a year ago. I was still a subscriber. And I said to Marc-Andre, I'm going to reach out to Sports Illustrated, negotiate a price, and let's do some advertisements or a full page. We do full page advertisements in some magazines. We're balls to the wall. We don't screw around with just classifieds. And I reached out. I did what they said, and I filled out a form and for interest. And I'm a full page advertising guy. This is a $30,000 to $40,000 to $50,000 one-time investment. And we're willing to do that to grow our brand. So I fill out the form. I put in there, I want to test a direct response ad. I want to sell my new book. Our budget is $30,000 to $50,000. That's it. You can close me in your sleep, right? So about a week or two goes by. Nothing. Crickets from this company. So I'm a subscriber. They don't care. I want to give them 50 grand. They don't care. So I do what I loathe to do, but I really want it to test SI. I think it's going to be good for our company. So once they don't get back to me, I give them a second chance. I get on the old telephone, Alexander Graham Bell, he'd be proud. And I get on the phone, and just like when my magazine wasn't delivered a decade ago, I try to get through this phone tree, and I try to talk to a human being. And it just goes on and on until I finally leave a message. And my message was pretty clear. I'm trying to spend money with you. I'm trying to give you $50,000 to start. If it's successful, I'm going to give you $50,000 a month. There's magazines that I've sponsored for 10 grand all the way to 30 and 40 for years. For years. I used to mail 140,000 flyers a month in the insurance business. I'm not a one-time Johnny. If something works for me, I'm a loyal customer. I'm a loyal customer. And I'm a buyer who's got the bucks to pay. So I couldn't talk to anybody. I left a message, and here we are over a month later, and nada, zero, zilch. Is it any wonder that they're bankrupt? Is it any wonder that they have hardly any subscribers? Is it any wonder they had to close their doors and fire all their people? Is it any wonder that they had to be saved by another media company? Literally strike number 2. I couldn't give them money. As a corporate advertiser, I couldn't give them money. The third and final thing started a decade ago as well, where all of a sudden, a simple top-tier sports magazine that used to write articles about amazing athletes, amazing teams, and amazing people became a soapbox for every social justice theme that was going on. So I used to pick up my magazine, my SI magazine, because I wanted to read about Michael Jordan. I wanted to read about Emmitt Smith. I wanted to read about John Chaney. I wanted to get updated on baseball or college hoops. I wanted to read these amazing stories about great football coaches and college coaches, because I was a coach. All of a sudden, those are very few and far between. Now, when I pick up my magazine a decade ago, it's a fucking sermon on how I should live my life, how I should raise my family, how I should hate America, how I should hate achievement, how I should hate capitalism. All I wanted to read about was Wayne Gretzky. All I wanted to read about was Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I didn't need to hear about how LeBron James was going to help me be a better human being. If I wanted to be a better human being, I would subscribe to Success Magazine. If I wanted to work on my abilities as an entrepreneur, I subscribe to the Entrepreneur Magazine. If I want to make a fortune, I subscribe to Fortune Magazine. But all of a sudden, it wasn't about sports. It was about virtue signaling, a soapbox for every athlete, every mouthpiece in sports, and mostly the writers themselves. They weren't talking about, how the kid grew up with no chance and worked his way into a scholarship and then became this amazing player and then helped people in the community. Those weren't the stories anymore. It was all about the disadvantaged and everybody have, this bias and that bias. And, when I was done reading it, I felt bad about myself. Instead of me feeling like, wow, inspired and motivated like when I was a kid, I was like, whoa, that was like 100 pages of shaming. So those are the three things and the real reason that a tomato can company like that, you could walk in those buildings worldwide. You wouldn't find anybody that does an honest day's work. You wouldn't find anybody. It was like Musk taking over Twitter. How the hell do you get rid of 70% of the staff without really much of a change? He says it's pretty easy when 70% of them aren't doing jack shit. It'd be the same thing with this company that takes this over. They got to figure out the next 5 years what the hell everybody was doing. And then they'll find out, especially the work at home crowd, that they weren't doing anything at all. People sitting, cubicle idiots sitting in there, playing on their cell phones, talking about their latest social justice theme and how they're going to make the world better, or climate change this, or anti-capitalism this, or hate America this, instead of actually doing their fucking job, having an actual work ethic. So anyway, I voted with my feet. I voted with my wallet, like my pop says. And Sports Illustrated is dead to me. And it's funny, I was a subscriber for 33 years. Something like that. Never a follow-up, never an email, nothing. Just canceled and crickets. Tried to give them 50 grand, crickets. Tried to get my delivery problems fixed, crickets. Okay, and just, they deserve to starve. They deserve to fail. And I laugh when I hear the whining and crying and excuses. And like I said at the beginning of this video, if I treat you like this, if I perform like this, if I deliver or don't deliver like this, cut my ass. Cut my ass. I'm like the pro athlete who you gotta rip the jersey off my back. If I can't help you win, if I can't help you be a better husband, a better father, a better entrepreneur, a better marketer, if I start mailing it in, if I start phoning it in every day with my emails and my videos and my books and my newsletters, like a horse that has to be put down that's gone lame, curate me, cut me out of out of your life, unsubscribe, unfollow, whatever the hell you want to call it, because the day I don't keep earning your attention is the day I need to be put out to pasture as well. So, big time wake up call there. These big corporations just do the exact opposite of what they're doing. You don't have the time, you don't have the resources, you don't have the marketing dollars to emulate anything that these people do. You want to emulate Disney, you're going to go broke. They're slowly 10,000 paper cuts. You can't afford to emulate Hollywood or movies or TV shows or any of this other nonsense, progressive virtue signaling. They're no longer in the business of making movies or TV shows. They're in the business of telling you how to live. But what I love to see and what's happening, there's finally a small awakening, and people like you and me are actually punishing and rejecting these companies. Okay? I didn't ask you to tell me how I should raise my daughter. I just turned on the basketball game so I could see the best athletes in basketball play a game. Now that I can't do that, I've rejected the NBA. I've almost rejected the NFL. I've rejected social media. I've rejected all politics, all mainstream news. I've rejected all the TV shows, all the movies. Nothing gets in my life anymore. Everything's been curated and swift sword, and everything that goes into my world and my daughter's world now has to go through my filter. And my filter eliminates 99% of this stuff. And guess what, Sports Illustrated? You're on your 9th live, but you've been curated out of this cat's life. You didn't pass the filter test, and I hung on for a lot longer than admittedly I should have, because of the fact I loved that once great American institution called Sports Illustrated. It's ironic, they used to have a very popular thing at the first of the magazines, you remember, was the best part. The apocalypse is upon us. And it would be one thing that week that was the ultimate punch-drunk, tomato can, call it clown world example. Some athlete or some coach or somebody that just went off, like they went postal that week. The dumbest thing that ever happened, like clown world. And it was the best part. If somebody messed up, they would shine a light on it. It was fun. It was infotaining. It was the greatest part. And of course, somehow that disappeared. That disappeared with the football phone, with the t-shirts, with the hats, with the print delivery, and all of a sudden their subscribers disappeared as well. So there you have it. What not to do in your business. If you ever lose touch with your clients and prospects, if you ever start hiding behind your website, hiding behind email, or any of that stuff, thinking that social media or websites are the same as, belly to belly, toe to toe sales, you're crazy. And you know what? This is why I'm such a proponent of mystery shopping your business. When I say mystery shop your business, most of my clients, they get chills. Chills run down the hair on their arm stands up. Why is that? Because about 10 years ago, I'll never forget the time I mystery shopped my mastermind members when I was in the insurance agency marketing niche. I was running a high-level mastermind. And these guys are successful guys. They're always looking, to make more money, to find this hack, this idea, this ninja trick. They're alpha males, right? So one time at a mastermind, before the mastermind, I had one of my friends who her business is she mystery shops your business. She calls your clinic. She calls your office. She calls your store. She mystery shops all your funnels, all your websites. She mystery shops, she calls your people, she tries to buy your product, she tries to break your business. And this was a piece of cake. She called 15 of these guys, and 13 of them F minus. She couldn't get anybody to answer the phone. She couldn't get it. She had to leave voicemail. This is in the middle of the day. So here's all these superstars, and they're pounding their chests at a seminar about how great this is going and how great that's going. When it came to my presentation at the mastermind, I just stood up in front of these 15 guys and pressed play. And you would have shit your pants laughing, because you want to talk about guys go from pounding their chests to hiding under the desk. I gave them the old Bill Parcells. Don't tell me about a player. I'll go on what I see. And if I don't like what I see, I'll tell you. And I played these one after another, and I actually gave them CDs and DVDs back in the day of these disasters, of nobody answering the phone, not being able to buy anything. They're like my $50,000 ad. Nobody would help them. Nobody would take their money. Their staff were horse shit, sabotage. And what were they doing? They're out golfing. So I played these, and I think it's 13 out of those 15 guys, talk about a cold water bucket of ice water in the face. And sometimes that's what it takes. And the two guys were the two wealthiest guys in the room. They had their act together. They had their shit together. They knew what was going on in their business. They mystery shopped their own business all the time. And unlike Sports Illustrated, unlike Disney, unlike Budweiser, unlike the NBA, unlike, all the nonsense you see around, they weren't going broke slowly and then quickly. They were staying true to their company values, one-on-one relationships, real selling, and real service. Listen, if you join my email newsletter at brassballsvideos.com, the link is below. I got a super sweet surprise bonus for you. It's Coach Jim Harbaugh's 20 lessons rules for living life. Harbaugh has a business card. I've actually seen the card because he gave it to one of my guys. He was recruiting his kid who ended up playing in Michigan the last 4 years. And he showed me this card like 5 years ago, and then I got reminded of it a couple weeks ago. But I did a breakdown of the 20 rules that are on Harbaugh's card. It's amazing stuff. And not only does Coach Harbaugh carry this physical business card around, but on the back he's got 25 rules for living life. And there's some of the best rules I've ever heard, reminders, quotes, maxims. And I did a breakdown of each. And you can get access to the printable PDF. You can look at it on your phone, whatever. All you have to do is opt in for free at at brassballsvideos.com, and you have access to the PDF, and you have access. You can print it off if you want. It's about 2 to 3 pages, and I break down all of Harbaugh's 20 rules for living. There's some really great stuff on there. I'll keep that up for another couple days, 48 hours, and then I'm going to tear it down, but it's yours free when you join my newsletter email list at brassballsvideos.com. That's it. Remember, when they go lame on you, put them out to pasture, fire fast, hire slow, and the second you get a whiff of somebody going lame in your world, whether business or personal, you get that whiff of toxicity or rat poison, make sure you punish and you reject with the 2 most powerful forces you have at your disposal, your feet and your wallet. 2 words that changed my life, 2 words that can change your life. Be relentless.